Someone asked about these right here. This is protein patties. It encourages the queen to lay, which obviously if I just had a split and I took half the hive, then I want her to lay a bunch. Because I want this hive to get back up and strong again. Probably will not get any honey from it this year unless they take off. But that's okay. Decent amount of honey in there. Pollen and bee bread in there. And I see some larvae in there. So that's good. Some capped brood. All right, so I did not see the queen, but she's in there. She has been, at least in the last few days, because there's some larvae in there. She's 3 to 6 days old, so she's been in there in the last week or so. She's probably hiding from me. Which is sometimes what she does. So, seeing what I want to see, and I'll cover them back up. All right, this one, I basically just want to check space. Make sure they have plenty of room. See if I need to add a super or another box or whatever. Plenty of honey. Looking for eggs. Do not see any. Wouldn't necessarily expect to find any up here, but more honey. Oh, there's the queen right there. See her right there. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put them back. I've seen her, so I know she's in there, obviously. I'm gonna check the other side just to check space. That's my main thing anyways. So if you look at that queen, you can tell she's different. She has the bigger abdomen. Yeah, that's a completely empty frame, empty frame, empty frame. They got at least 3 empty frames up here. I'm sure they've got a few down in the bottom. So they're okay till next week. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and check the bottom one while I'm here. So the queen has a bigger abdomen. Obviously, she stores all the eggs. She mates once in her life. And then she'll carry all the eggs that she has with her. Drones are unfertilized eggs. Workers are fertilized eggs. Any worker can become a queen if the hive sees fit. So if the queen they have isn't doing good, a fumbly beekeeper comes in and kills her, as long as they have an egg that's under 3 days old, they can turn that worker egg, as long as they have a worker egg under 3 days old, they can turn that worker egg into a queen. Yeah, they've got plenty of room. Yep. So I'm gonna leave them alone. They're all right for right now. About 75-80% is when you want to, yeah, they're not even in those frames at all. So about 75-80% is when you want to add another box on. And they've got 3 or 4 boxes down here, or frames down here, and 3 boxes or frames up top. So they are got plenty of room to do what they need to do. So all the queen does is lay eggs. But, like I said, the hive can get rid of her if they don't like her, if they don't think she's doing a good job. All right, I'm gonna close up, move on to the next one. Okay, so these next 2 hives were splits, which means I took part of the hive from another one, moved them over, and either the old hive made a new queen or the hive that I moved to made a new queen. On this one, they made their new queen. And I found a virgin queen in here week and a half ago. So the best thing would be to see if I find eggs, because that means she's in there and she's laying and she's doing her thing. But if I don't find them, I won't be terribly surprised. I'll just check again in another week, and by then she should be laying. The little white or yellow pieces of paper or cloth are for hive beetles. Hive beetles can come in there and they can chew on the wax and just make a ruckus, wreck stuff. And basically what it does is their little feet get caught in it. They can't go anywhere. They get trapped. They die. And the bees don't like that cloth in there, so they actually eventually work it out of their hive. And while they're working it out, the hive beetles that are caught in it get drug out with it. So I'm not seeing much, but I start from the outside and work my way in, so I'm not expecting to see much on the outside. So you can see there they're starting to put a little honey in there. Because the bees work inside out. So I like to go outside in to give me room to move stuff around. just some honey in there. Oh, and there she is, right there. So that looks like a mated queen. I would really like to see some eggs, so I know she's laying, because they can still die in their mating flight. So it'd be really good to see some eggs. And I see eggs. I don't know if you guys can see them, but there's little white dots in there. So she is laying. She is a mated queen doing her thing. There she is, right there, doing her thing. So I'm going to put everything back. And of course they have plenty of room. So I'm going to put everything back and leave her alone. Make sure she is out of the way of the frames. I do not want to crush my brand new queen. That would be good, not good. All right, guys, I'm gonna close up and we'll go on to the next one. Hopefully find the same thing. All right, so I think this last one was a hive I'd split 2. Did not have a queen. So I'm hoping to find a queen somewhere in here, or at least see eggs. Don't expect much honey from these splits. Their job is to survive the winter. If they get enough, if we have a good nectar flow, that will be good. But priority number 1, job number 1 is survive. So this is actually whitecap honey. It's probably left over from the frames. I'm pretty sure this was a frame of whitecap honey I put in there. So this is the honey that you look to harvest. When you have at least 80 to 90% of the frame full of whitecap honey, then you know it's safe to harvest and it's good to harvest. What happens is the bees will get the water out of the honey until it's dry enough, and then when it's dry enough, they cap it. So still looking for eggs. Don't see any, but I would probably expect them to be on the next frame. It looks like the bees are in there just doing honey. Because if you look, this is where most of the bees are. So most of the time when you find the queen, it's where most of the bees are. Oh, there she is. She doesn't quite look mated. But that's the queen. I think she may be a little bit behind the other one, because I do not see any eggs, but she was in there. Yep, see, right there. So I'm gonna put her back and leave her alone. Check on her another week, make sure she's laying eggs.